Creating and sticking to a holiday budget is tough for many of us, including Cityline viewer Patra. So we sent financial educator Martha Adams in to help her out. Let's take a look. Hello.
It's so nice to see you.
So, Patra, share with me what you had intended on allocating for holiday buying last year, specifically for gift giving.
For gift giving alone, it was $1,000.
And then when you ended up, tallying everything, looking at your accounts, what did you end up paying in total?
$1,700.
So $1,700. Okay,
Yeah.
so there was $700 overage there.
Yeah. I know the holidays can be a little tricky because a lot of emotions become involved in the way that you're purchasing and spending money. So I want to make sure that it stays aligned with that goal for growth.
What was does not have to define what is or what will be, right? And one of the key things I want to understand is the way that you were feeling. So, with it being your son's first Christmas, there were definitely feelings of...
Yeah, I would say pressure. I would also say, back to the word, limitations, especially being, a single parent on mat leave. I was limited by finances, but I didn't want to feel defined by that. I didn't want it to feel like a barrier.
Is there a feeling of guilt or obligation in any of your gift buying?
Probably a little of both.
What's the number that you want to see for this year?
I would love to bring it down to 1,000.
Total.
Yeah.
So we're 150 for your son with the steering wheel and experience. And then for your parents, the photo shoot with their grandchildren. How much would you like to put towards that?
I feel like I could probably do it in 150 if I
think so too.
If I kind of work with a photographer.
And then both of your sisters you're going to buy for, and still to determine what those are, but we'll come back to that. So what was the amount that you wanted for each of your nieces? Right now it's $385.
So I think $30 each should do it with some of the Christmas sales and things.
Okay. And that means that you have $120 remaining.
Perfect.
Right?
Yeah. High five.
High fives.
It's the Martha high five, right? That was so lovely. You got a high five.
That's
okay.
right.
You really helped Patra there, and you helped her actually bring her budget down, from $1,700 to $1,000. That is significant.
It is.
That is significant difference. So what was the first thing that you did to help her out?
So the first thing I did was actually help Patra shift the word budget.
Yeah.
So I started by using that word because it's the one that, most of us know and use at this point. But for so many of us, it's riddled with negative emotional associations. So,
I feel like I break out in hives.
Right, see,
Don't
exactly.
ask me about a budget.
Right? And because the moment the word budget is said, feelings of stress, anxiety, hives.
Restriction. You feel restricted, feels punitive.
Exactly.
Right?
And in Patra's case, that restriction, she was feeling that because she had feelings of confinement and limitation.
Yes.
Right? And so we were able to uncover that because we prioritized the way that she feels. And then we could see that, in a lot of cases, the conversation of a budget ends up focusing on all the things we can't do or what we've done wrong. So we could then work together to shift that.
I love that. You're always about that abundance mindset. It's not about scarcity. It's not about scarcity. It's like you have enough. Now, what are we going to do with what you have? So budgeting feels like a heavy word. What word would you use instead? What do we shift to?
So I love the idea of money flow.
Ooh,
right?
I sound rich.
Yes.
Look at my money flow.
Right, and you mentioned the
right?
Look at my money
flowing.
Right, and so when we say money flow, it feels differently.
Yeah.
Because it's focused on the abundance that you mentioned, all the things that we can do, right? And when we're in flow, Tracy, it's this connection to the way that we feel, and we have this energetic focus towards it. right?
Okay.
And so now Patra was so much more engaged in her holiday money planning because it was about her financial well-being.
I love that. Okay, very good. One of the things that we heard Patra address was elevated emotions around the holidays, and I think a lot of us feel this. How did you help her work through those feelings?
So I have 3 A's for our emotional financial well-being.
Okay.
It's acknowledgement,
Yeah.
awareness, and then action.
Okay.
Right? So
Yeah.
around the holidays, a lot of times we can kind of deprioritize or put our emotional awareness on hold, right? And then January rolls around and it all comes rearing back,
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
But by focusing and prioritizing the way that we feel, we can change the results. And that's exactly what I was doing with Patra.
Okay.
So we started by acknowledging and honoring the way that she felt last year, right? She had feelings of confinement, limitation, and pressure.
Yeah.
Right? And then we could bring an awareness to where that was coming from.
Yeah.
And so in her case, it was, she's a first-time single mom, her son's first Christmas, and she was on mat leave.
Yeah.
Right? So now we have not only an awareness, but we have an understanding and empathy for the way that she was feeling.
Yeah.
And now we can start to shift and focus on the actions that are going to create the results that she wants for herself. So seeing that $1,000 allotment versus the $1,700. And we started to look at that as something that now served and prioritized her versus something that was taking away.
I love that. Now, what results did Patra see for her holiday buying now this year?
Yes, this is
it
where I get
different
really
this year?
excited.
Did it
This
feel
is
better?
where, yes.
This is where you want to
this is where you want to shimmy a little bit.
Okay.
Right? Because here's what happened, right? Like, if we could just all shimmy about our money a little bit, right? But the thing was,
We brought it from $1,700 to
Yeah.
$1,000, and with that $1,000, we included everyone that was on her list,
good.
stocking stuffers as well. And Tracy, we had $120 remaining. So that feeling of abundance created the external results. And now going into 2023, Patra is hitting the ground running with her focus on growth for her money.
That is amazing.
Right?
Like, she's literally in a situation where she now has extra funds.
Yes.
And she has done everything she needed to do in order to take care of the people in her life. It's a beautiful thing. You're a therapist and financial advisor. You understand that, right? Like, you walked her through the gamut of emotions, and I think that's beautiful. So for the audience now, when you think about this time of year, do you have a budget? Like, a budget for Christmas is something that I think I really should do, and I do not. So by a show of hands, let me know if you have a budget for the holidays. Not even one hand up?
see, it's the word budget.
Right? Is that what it is? How you doing, Cityline audience? How's January for you, right? You feel like you get this hangover on January where you feel like you spent too much, you ate too much, you drank too much, and then you're at a deficit. So what an amazing thing to start to think about abundance now.
Yes.
And be responsible now. So when we get to the other side of it, you're like free and easy.
Absolutely. And when you're in that flow and you're feeling that abundance, we saw it with Patra, where she created that abundance because she felt it. So it wasn't about the $1,700 or even the fact that we brought it down to $1,000 for her. It was everything that she could do.
Yes. Oh, I really, really do love that. And I like the fact that if we are all a little bit more intentional about what we're bringing in and what we actually have access to, we might be able to start to shift things in our lives,
So true.
So thank you for that, Martha. So